Ed Woodward, did he miss out on Pedro this week, Neil, or was he always on his way to Chelsea?
I don't think he missed out on him at all. I mean, if you were led to believe that it was quibbling over the last £3 million of a 21 million buyout clause, this from a football club that spent something like £300 billion or whatever it is over the last year. Why would they quibble over the last £3 million if they really wanted the player? I don't think he missed out on him at all. I think after the first season, Edward Wood was doing the transfers with David Moyes when they sort of put all their eggs in one basket with Cesc Fabregas and then lost him and really ended up pretty much empty-handed apart from Fellaini. Now they have 1, 2, 3, 4 deals on the go, you know, and they have a top target, a second target, and on you go. Pedro was one of those. Van Gaal wasn't really sold on him. He is aiming higher. He thinks they need a higher level of striker to make them better. Personally, I don't. I think any striker would help them right now. But that is their thinking. So I don't think, you know, all this gazumped by Chelsea and Ed dithered and all that. Ed Woodward hasn't dithered on a transfer since that first summer, and even in that first summer, he would say it was the manager totally committed to some of the signings that he was going for, and Ed took the blame. If you look at his record since then, it's actually been pretty impressive. Prior to him, David Gill was not in charge of a big amount of spending since the Glazers had taken over. In fact, there was an under-investment of anything. And Ed Woodward's gone to the Glazers and basically said to them a couple of years ago, we've got to spend, we've got to spend, we've got to give, or we're going to fall behind, we've got to catch up. And he's told them they had to spend, and to be fair to them, for all the criticism they've taken since taking over the club and the huge debt they put them in and payments and everything, they have spent, and they've spent big. And they've backed the managers, particularly this manager. So quibbling over £3 million, no,
but
not at all.
That criticism will return if they don't land someone. I mean, I take your point about, OK, if they really wanted him, they could have just steamrolled it in.
Yeah.
But the questions will return double-fold if they haven't signed someone by the time the window closes. That's the point. I mean, I think everyone accepts that they need more firepower. I think that's the bleeding obvious now, isn't it?
No, absolutely.
Neil, do they object with it's story after story every single day about the players that they're signing? If it's not Pedro, it's Otamendi, Neymar on the back of your paper yesterday, Gareth Bale. Neymar's on the back of your paper again today, but Real Madrid and Gareth Bale again with Steve Bates in the People this morning. Do they object to that kind of coverage?
No, but
These are all players that they're unlikely to sign in this window.
Unlikely, but then maybe. You know, I mean, I was saying to Paddy before we were on air, if you told me in 1994 that Kevin Keegan was going to sell Andy Cole to Manchester United, you would have said I'm mad. Now, the thing with Neymar is, you know, all the people on Twitter like piling and saying he'll never go, this is rubbish and all that. The point of the story is they are trying. They have tried, they have made contact, they are trying. They have Pini Zahavi working on it. Yeah. You know, Pini Zahavi is the European agent for Neymar. There is a different agent who's saying he'll never go, a bloke in Brazil. The point is they are trying to get him. Now, what is wrong with a club the size of Manchester United trying to get a player of that? And if they don't get him now, they're going to try again in January. And the way they're trying to sell it to Neymar is you will be the main man at this football club. So the story is they're trying to get him, plain and simple.
If they had signed Pedro, I mean, I and a lot of people would have thought, what are they doing buying Barcelona cast-offs?
Well, absolutely.
And I think it's important from Manchester United's point of view to know that they don't really want... Pedro's, don't get me wrong, a perfectly good player, but not one that's going to take you back to the very top of European football. Yeah. Without, you know, he was not first choice. At Barcelona.
The guy who scored the opening goal in the Champions League final against Manchester United.
Yes, I mean, I think that was the peak of his career. But Neymar wouldn't have come to the club if successive managers thought Pedro was the kind of guy that keeps you at the forefront of European football.